So today on the Fixit Shed, I want to take a look at the noise that my 2011 Ford Fiesta is making when I start it up. So it's not an engine noise, it's something under the dash. So I'm gonna start it up, and you have to wait a few moments. It makes the traditional chimes and dings and stuff when it starts up. But after it runs for a while, you'll hear the noise. All right, so yeah, I held the microphone under the dash, so it does that. And I believe that is the blend door. So I think there's a blend door on the passenger side, but this is coming from the driver's side. I believe there's a blend door on this side too. Also, I noticed when I use the air conditioning or heat, it only blows air down to my feet. It won't come out of the vents in the dash. So I have a feeling that that's what the problem is. So we're going to try and take a look at that. You can go up under the dash to get to this. It's a little cramped under there. What I want to try and do, though, is remove this lower panel on the steering column and see if I can get my hand in there and have enough access that way. So to do that, there's two screws that I need to get out. There's one up here. You can see it right there. And then if you turn the wheel, yep, there's one on the other side right there. All right, so I've just got a T25 Torx bit to loosen this. Okay. Yeah, there's another one underneath here. So right there under the dash. All right, so now that I've got the screws out, you need to separate the top and bottom here. Let's see. There we go. What are you stuck on? There it goes. Ugh. All right, that was fun. That right there, you can see the red tab on the plug and the screw. That is the blend door actuator. So it would have been impossible for me to get any kind of camera viewing with the airbag in. You probably can get away without doing it, but I wanted to take out the airbag, and I also took out the driver's seat to just to make it a little bit easier for me to record so that you can see what I'm doing. All right, so there's one screw. Let's see. Over right there, right? And then there's another screw. Can you see it from over here? Yeah. There's the second screw. So we got two screws to take out and unplug it, and then we should be ready to swap in the new one. But yeah, this would have been really hard for me to video for you with the airbag in place. All right, and these are just T20 Torx screws. So you can see, yeah, working on it. I'm getting that screw out. It's a little tedious. All right, I got the two screws out. Now we need to release the clip. There we go. Just pull that up, and then you can press down on this little tab right here and unplug it. Now we should just be able to pull this out. There we go. Just like that. All right, so right here is the gear that I can move that seems to turn things. And it seems like if I turn it as far as it'll go, it seems like maybe then the key lines up where it's supposed to be. So let's see if we can get the actuator in. That doesn't seem to quite want to line up, so I'm going to need to use both hands. So at this point I ran into a little bit of a snag. I could not get the gear on the blend door to line up with the gear on the actuator, and so that I could install the new actuator. And if you look at the old actuator, the gear isn't lined up properly. So it seems like something's a little bit out of whack. So after removing the old actuator, I did take it apart and examine it, and I was looking for and expecting to find gears that were stripped, broken teeth, that kind of thing. But I took it apart and everything looked good. So I don't think there's actually anything wrong with the old actuator. And also, when I removed the actuator, I was able to try and turn the gears for the blend door, and they seem to move pretty freely, so I don't know exactly what's causing it to bind. So when I put the old actuator in, it only buzzes or clicks quickly when it's going through its initialization process. When I go through the different settings of heat and defrost and air conditioning, that blend door moves and redirects the air. But it doesn't make the buzzing or clicking sound when I do that. It's only on initialization. So what I think is that, since I can move the blend door gear and it seems to move just fine, what I think is stop to stop, I'm wondering if maybe there is something in the ductwork that is obstructing the blend door so that it is not fully closing. Because I'm also having a problem with direction of the airflow. When I turn on air conditioning, it doesn't come out through the vents very strongly on the dash. It comes out through the floor, and it shouldn't come out on the floor. Heat should come out on the floor. So I'm thinking that there's maybe something that is blocking or obstructing the actual blend door. But to find out, it looks like I really have to take quite a bit of the dash apart and the console out to get to the ductwork and actually be able to see what's in there. Or I might be able to pull out the blower motor, but that requires me to pull out the pedals again. And it's something I really don't want to dive into on it might be that, because if I open it up and I can't find anything, it's going to be a lot of wasted effort. Now, since I did take the old actuator apart to examine it, I did mess up the position of the gear here. So actually what I did so that I can put this one back in is I took it apart and I put it in with just the front part of the case in, so that this gear could move freely. So I could put this in, line it up, and then I put the back cover on with there's like a third gear in here that stays with the back half of the cover, and that then held everything in place. And once I did that, it actually didn't click anymore. So, it would run through its initialization, and the clicking didn't happen. So I'm probably going to call that a win. So it still doesn't direct the air, I think, like it should, but at least it stopped making the noise. I did reconnect the battery. And let's see if you can see when it goes through its startup sequence here. I'm just holding it in place because I didn't put the screws in. There it goes. And it didn't buzz. So it went through the startup sequence and didn't buzz, so didn't make noise. So that's what I wanted. All right, so if your actuator is actually failing and you need to replace it, I think the video does a pretty good job of showing how to remove the old actuator and to put the new one in. It should be lined up with the arrows on your actuator, and when you go to put it into the new one, unless yours is messed up like mine with the blend door possibly being obstructed. And if you are able to rotate the gears to the correct position, you should be able to install the gear easily, unlike the issue that I'm having. I may in the future try and get like a borescope and see if I can peek into the ductwork and see if I can see anything. If that happens, I might repost another video. All right, so if you got something out of this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to help this channel out, please consider subscribing or becoming a member by clicking the join button below. Thanks for watching. Take care.